Hi, I'm Paul at Iron Mountain CrossFit, and today we're going to talk a little bit more about the functional movements. And there's three main functional movements you do: pushing, pulling, and squatting. We're going to start with the squat. It's the most fundamental move you can do as a human. If you can maintain the ability to squat your entire life, you'll maintain your independence. So when we're executing a squat, we're going to start with our feet about shoulder width apart. Kind of wave your toes forward so you feel that weight in the heels. You want to maintain those heels on the ground throughout the squat, and you want to think about your knees probably tracking over about your third and fourth toes. You don't want that knee to go in front of the toes, and you don't want that heel to come off the ground. Set position, as we've talked about before, is squeezing the glute and then squeezing the core. So glute squeezed, core engaged, and we want to maintain a neutral head. So we'll use our hands as a counterbalance as we squat back and down. So go ahead and we'll get a couple squats in here. Our goal is to get the hip crease below the knee. When we stand back up, we'll squeeze the butt to reset. Everything we do is modifiable and scalable, and it doesn't matter what age you are, you should be able to maintain your ability to squat. Trudy is going to use this bench to help modify with the squats. She's still going to set herself the same. Her glute is squeezed, core is engaged, shoulders are back, and she'll squat back and down to the bench. That's a squat, the most fundamental movement that you can do. So we want to start with our wrists, elbows, and shoulders in a straight line, and we're going to create external rotation, which we'll show you from the front in just a bit. Her glute is squeezed and her belly button is pulling back to her spine to make a nice tight plank position, and now she'll press her chest all the way down to the ground and then press all the way up, maintaining that plank throughout the movement. So in the push-up, you want your wrist, elbow, and shoulder in a straight line, and you want to create a stable shoulder by creating external rotation in the shoulder. So she's going to drive the eye or the pit of the elbow forward. So she's now in a more stable brace position throughout her body. Glute is still squeezed, belly button is still pulling back to the spine. As she presses down through push-ups, she'd like to maintain that. So arms shade the side and then presses back up. And again, driving the eye, the elbow forward, creating that external and stable position in the shoulders. So one of the modifications we can use during a push-up is to allow the knees or lower part of the body to touch the ground. So Diane is still wrist, elbows, and shoulders in a straight line and screwing her hands into the ground, creating that external rotation in the shoulders. She'll press down the best she can. Once she hits the ground, she's still going to keep that plank position, glute is squeezed and core is engaged, and then she presses up. As soon as the legs can come off the ground, then she'll come all the way up to the full plank. So another modification for push-up that you can use is either on a box or a wall. Trudy is going to demonstrate on the box here. So she's still going to try to keep her wrist, elbow, and shoulders in a straight line, creating a plank, glute is squeezed, core is engaged, pressing down to the box as far as she can. Very nice, and extending all the way up. It's a great place to start if you're limited in your upper body strength. We're going to demonstrate the pull-up as one of the fundamental movements that we do, pushing, pulling, and squatting. So in a pull-up, she's going to use a double overhand grip with her thumb wrapped around the bar. She's going to squeeze into her pinky and ring fingers, help creating a stable position in her shoulder. And then her glute is squeezed and belly button pulling nice and tight in. So she's basically a plank, or what we call a hollow body position. She's going to pull herself up over, chin over bar. And as she comes down, she will let her elbows fully extend. It keeps her shoulders in the socket. Today we're going to demonstrate one of the modifications for pull-up. So Diane's going to be in the band. She's going to hang down completely with her arms fully extended. Her shoulders stay in the socket. And then she's going to use the assistance of the band to pull up, chin all the way over bar, and then she'll come back and let the elbows extend. There's a jumping pull-up. So Anna will start. She'll have to have her knees bent on a box, but arms are still fully extended. She'll use her legs to help her propel herself above the bar, chin over bar, all the way back down onto the box. Full extension in those elbows. Another modification you can do for pull-up is the ring row. So we're going to start standing. Trudy's going to let her elbows come to full extension. Her shoulder's going to stay in the socket. Her glute is squeezed, pressing up. She'll pull herself up to rings, maintain the tension, and then back down into the fully extended elbow. You can make this harder or easier depending on where you place your feet.